Now that the Yomim Tovim are over, we begin this Shabbos Sefer Breishis. We start the Torah anew once again. And with our learning of the Torah every week, we gain new insights and lessons into life. And one of the lessons that we learn in Parashas Breishis that is brought down by Rashi is absolutely tremendous that I'd like to share with you. The Pasuk says that Hashem says, Naase Adam b'tzalmeinu kidmusenu, let us make man in our tzelem, in our image. And of course, this is a major question regarding the language of this pasuk. Because Rashi immediately says that Hashem opens up a can of worms. He opens up the possibility that there would be heretics who would imply, because Hashem uses the plural language, that there was someone aside for him who created Adam, who created man. And of course, we know that that's heretical, and we don't believe in such a thing. Hashem himself alone made Adam. So why would Hashem use that language? So Rashi explains to us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu used that language because he spoke to the Malachim and said to the Malachim, I want permission to make man. Why would Hashem need to ask the Malachim, the angels, for permission? So Rashi explains, because man in some way, some fashion appears like the Malachim, like the angels. And he was concerned, Hashem was concerned that the Malachim, the angels, would become jealous of man. So Hashem decided, I'm going to ask the Malachim that I'm going to make man. I'm going to ask them permission. Of course, what do you mean? Ask permission? Hashem doesn't need to ask permission. But rather, he wanted to get Rishus together with them so that this would be an action that he would do in which they would not be jealous of. Because until that time, it was only them in the heavenly spheres, both in heaven and down below. So Hashem goes out of his way and even puts himself in a dangerous position where now there are people who are heretical who could say that Hashem himself did not create Adam. Because of using that language, Hashem says, nevertheless, there's a lesson to be learned here, and that lesson is very clear. Rashi tells us that Hashem is trying to teach us a midas anava and derech eretz, a midah of humility and respect, that a person should not hesitate getting permission from someone who is not as great as they are. How many times do we find ourselves in a position where we say, I'm about to do something, and this person may be impacted by it, but I don't have to say anything to them because, they're not where I am. They're not on my level. Meaning, maybe it's somebody who works for me. Maybe it's a child of mine. Maybe it's a younger sibling. I don't need to ask of them. I don't need to ask their permission because I have the right to do it. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, you might have the right to do it, but nevertheless, derech eretz tells us the appropriate way to act is to ask permission from someone, to give them a sense that they're feeling good, that they're part of the process, that you value who they are and what they represent and their opinion. I think this goes as well to the idea of being able to value someone's opinion who may not be on our level, to value someone's opinion who is younger than us, to value someone's opinion who may not be as successful as us or as learned as we are. And for us to not look at that as negating who we are, but looking at that as a power, a strength into who we are. The ability to seek counsel, to seek advice, to ask permission from someone who we don't necessarily have to ask permission from, really refines our nature as being the type of mention that HaKadosh Baruch Hu truly wanted from us. And Hashem says that that lesson was so valuable that he took the risk of there being heretics challenging his creation of man in order to teach that lesson to us. So we should glean this first lesson of that I'm sharing in Sefer Breishis, in Parshas Breishis, to really imbibe within us the idea that we can learn from everyone, the idea that we can seek permission from anyone in order to make them feel important and desired and part of a process of whatever it is that we encounter. And if we do so, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will certainly look at us with a sense of pride, having learned the lesson from himself. Thank you for listening and have a good Shabbos.